Harper, you need to put your phone down now. Those 7 words were the beginning of the end, or should have been. What would you do if the person you trusted most in the world, your husband, the father of your unborn child, drove you to a remote construction site on a quiet Sunday afternoon? What if you realized too late that the emergency doctor's appointment was a lie, that the life insurance policy he insisted on wasn't protection? It was a death sentence? Harper Mitchell was 7 months pregnant when her husband and his mistress buried her alive in concrete, left her in an 8-foot pit to suffocate while they walked away to start their new life together. With her money, with her death. But here's the thing about the Mitchell family. They don't quit. They don't give up. And Harper's brother, a Navy SEAL who just happened to show up at exactly the right moment, wasn't about to let his sister become a statistic. This is the story of the longest 90 minutes of Harper's life. From betrayal to burial. From desperation to justice. From victim to survivor. And it starts with a drive that should have been routine. Harper, you need to put your phone down now. Brett's voice was wrong, too controlled, too calm. Harper Mitchell Dalton looked up from her phone, 7 months pregnant and uncomfortable in the passenger seat of their Mercedes. Her husband's hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles had gone white. "What?" Harper asked, confused. "I was just texting Lauren back." "Put it down," Brett repeated. His eyes stayed fixed on the road ahead. Late September afternoon, golden light streaming through the windshield. Everything should have felt peaceful, normal, but something felt off. Not wrong exactly, just off. Harper's hand moved to her belly, where their daughter kicked and rolled. The baby always knew when Mama was stressed. Right now, she was doing gymnastics. "Brett, what's going on?" Harper locked her phone and set it in the cup holder. The screen showed 12% battery. When had it gotten so low? Brennan called," Brett said. "There's a problem with the baby. We need to go in right away." Harper's heart stopped. "What? What kind of problem?" She didn't say, just said it was urgent, that we needed to come in for an emergency checkup. Terror flooded through Harper. She grabbed her phone again, pulled up her contacts. "I'm calling her back." "She's probably in surgery," Brett said quickly. "She said she'd meet us at the office in 20 minutes. Harper's thumb hovered over Dr. Brennan's number. Something in her gut twisted. The baby kicked again. Hard. She looked out the window. They were on Highway 26 heading west, not east toward Portland, where her doctor's office was located. "Brett, you missed the turn. I know a faster route." "My doctor's office isn't this way." Brett's jaw clenched. "We're not going to your doctor." The world seemed to tilt. Harper's phone buzzed in her hand. Vanessa Pierce, Brett's business partner. His mistress, if Harper was being honest with herself. She'd suspected for months but kept explaining it away. The late nights, the changed passwords, the way Vanessa touched Brett's arm at dinner parties, letting her hand linger just a moment too long. "Then where are we going?" Harper's voice came out smaller than she intended. "Somewhere we can talk," Brett said, without interruptions. Harper looked at her phone. Lock, unlock, lock, unlock, lock. That anxious habit she'd developed lately. Checking for messages that never came. Checking for proof of what she already knew deep down. Her best friend Lauren had warned her 6 months ago. "I don't trust her around your husband, Harper. The way she looks at him." Harper had laughed it off. Brett would never. But then now, driving in the wrong direction, her phone at 12% battery, that old conversation echoed differently. They passed familiar landmarks going the wrong way. The coffee shop where they'd had their first date. The park where Brett had proposed. All of it sliding past the window in reverse. Brett's phone sat face down in the cup holder, buzzing repeatedly. He declined the call without looking. But Harper had seen the name flash briefly on the screen. Vanessa. "That's weird," Harper said carefully. "Why is Vanessa calling on a Sunday?" "Work stuff," Brett said, too quickly. "Nothing important." Harper's maternity dress stuck to her back. The September afternoon was warm, but she felt cold. The baby kicked her ribs. Once, twice, 3 times. "I know, sweetheart," Harper whispered to her belly. "Mama knows something's wrong." Brett took an exit Harper didn't recognize. Rural farmland stretched on both sides of the road. No other cars. No houses. Just empty fields and the distant line of trees. Brett, please tell me what's happening. Already told you. We need to talk. About what? The baby? You said there was a problem with the baby. There's a problem with everything, Harper. His voice held something she'd never heard before. Not anger, not sadness, something colder. Something that made her skin prickle with fear. Her phone buzzed again. Text message from her mom. How was the ultrasound today, sweetheart? They hadn't had an ultrasound today. Harper stared at the message, confused. Then she looked at Brett. Did you tell my mom we had an ultrasound appointment? We need people to think we were somewhere else today. The words hung in the air like ice. Harper's hands started shaking. She tried to open her door, locked. She tried the handle again. Nothing. Brett, unlock the door. I can't do that. What do you mean you can't? Unlock the door right now. Harper, just calm down. Don't tell me to calm down. I want to get out. She reached for the back door. Child safety locks, engaged. When had he done that? This morning? Yesterday? How long had he been planning whatever this was? The road turned to gravel. Brett slowed the car. Ahead, Harper saw a construction site. Half-built foundation, concrete mixer, stacks of lumber, rebar jutting up like metal bones. And parked next to the trailer office, a black Mercedes she recognized immediately. Vanessa's car. Harper's stomach dropped. Why is she here? Brett didn't answer. He pulled up next to Vanessa's Mercedes and put the car in park. The engine ticked as it cooled. Gravel crunched under the tires. In the distance, a crow called out. Otherwise, complete silence. No workers. No sounds of construction. Just empty desert-like land and the skeleton of something being built. Sunday afternoon. No one worked construction on Sunday afternoons. Through the windshield, Harper watched Vanessa step out of her car. Designer heels, cashmere sweater, jeans that probably cost more than Harper's car payment, hair pulled back in a sleek ponytail, lipstick perfect. She looked like she was going to brunch, not a construction site. She looked at Harper through the windshield and smiled. That smile made Harper's blood run cold. Brett, what is this? Harper's voice shook. What's happening? Brett turned to her finally. His face was blank. No emotion, like looking at a stranger. I'm sorry it has to be this way, he said. Sorry? Sorry for what? Brett, I'm 7 months pregnant. What are you talking about? I know. That's what makes this so perfect. Harper tried her door again. Locked. She pounded on the window. Let me out. Let me out right now. Vanessa walked closer, her heels clicking on the gravel. Each step deliberate, unhurried. She pulled out her phone and started recording. For our protection, Vanessa's voice carried through the closed window. In case you try to run. Try to run. Harper was 7 months pregnant. Where did they think she would run? There was nothing out here for miles. Brett, please, Harper begged. Whatever this is, we can talk about it. We can work it out. There's nothing to work out, Brett said. He reached across her to the glove box, pulled out something that made Harper's heart stop. Gloves. Thick work gloves. You were never supposed to know, Brett continued, pulling the gloves on. That was the plan. Quick, painless, an accident, a tragedy everyone would sympathize with. Know what? Brett, you're scaring me. The baby kicked frantically. Harper's hands went to her belly, protective, instinctive. Brett opened his door. The dome light came on, harsh and bright. Come on, he said, walking around to her side. Don't make this harder than it has to be. He opened her door. The child lock disengaged from the driver's panel. Harper shrank back in her seat. I'm not going anywhere with you. Yes, you are. He reached in and grabbed her arm. His grip was iron. Harper had never seen this side of him. 5 years of marriage, and she'd never once feared him physically. Until now. Help, Harper screamed. Somebody help me. But there was no one to hear. Just empty land in the skeleton construction site, and Vanessa recording everything with that cold smile on her face. Brett dragged Harper from the car. She fought, but pregnancy made her clumsy, off balance. Her feet hit the gravel and she stumbled. Brett caught her, kept her upright. Not out of kindness, out of necessity. Vanessa approached, phone still recording. Hello, Harper. Sorry it has to be this way. What has to be what way? What are you doing? Brett, tell her to stop recording me. The recording is important, Brett said. Evidence that you resisted, that we tried to reason with you. Harper's mind spun. None of this made sense. Evidence for what? Resisted what? Then she looked past them to the construction site. Really looked. The forms were already in place. 8 feet deep, 10 feet long, rebar crisscrossing like a cage. Next to them, a concrete mixer, ready to pour. And next to the mixer, fresh bags of concrete mix, already opened. Understanding crashed over Harper like ice water. No, she whispered. No, you can't. You wouldn't. We can, Vanessa said cheerfully, and we are. Brett started walking Harper toward the pit. She dug her heels in, but gravel gave her no traction. Her maternity dress caught on rebar. The fabric tore. The baby kicked. 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 Please, Harper sobbed. Please, Brett. Our baby, your daughter. She's a complication, Brett said, and Harper knew then, with horrible certainty, that the man she'd married no longer existed, if he ever had. The smell hit Harper first. Wet concrete, diesel fuel, disturbed earth. She tried to pull away from Brett's grip, but he held firm. Vanessa walked beside them, phone still recording, that smile never wavering. Let me go, Harper screamed. Somebody help, please. There's no one here, Vanessa said. That's the point. Sunday afternoon, middle of nowhere, we checked very carefully. Harper's legs barely held her. Each step toward the concrete forms felt like walking toward her own grave, because that's what they were. Her tomb. The word echoed in her head. Tomb, burial, death. We need you to disappear, Harper, Brett said conversationally, like discussing dinner plans. The insurance policy is too good to waste. Insurance? Harper's voice came out as a croak. What insurance? Oh, so I am. The one I took out 6 months ago, Brett explained. $2 million. Double for accidental death. 6 months ago. Harper had been 3 months pregnant. Just starting to show. They'd gone to that nice dinner to celebrate. Brett had held her hand across the table, kissed her gently, said he wanted to protect their family's future. She'd signed the papers without reading them carefully. Trusting. Stupid. You planned this, Harper whispered. Since before. Before the baby even. Before you even showed, Vanessa corrected. The pregnancy was going to end our affair. Brett was going to stay with you for the baby. Can you imagine? All that money and happiness wasted on someone like you. Someone like you. The words cut deeper than they should have. What did that mean? What was wrong with Harper? She'd been a good wife. Supportive. Loving. She'd given up her nursing career to focus on starting their family. So we moved up the timeline, Brett continued. They reached the edge of the pit. Harper looked down into darkness. 8 feet deep, walls of raw earth and wood framing. The bottom was hard-packed dirt. Her phone buzzed in her dress pocket. 10% battery. She'd forgotten she'd moved it from the cup holder. Brett hadn't noticed either. Hope flickered. Maybe she could. Give me your phone, Brett said. Hope died. Harper shook her head. No. Give it to me or I'll take it. She pulled it out with shaking hands. Brett grabbed it and tossed it into the pit. It landed with a small thud in the dirt. Call for help now, Vanessa laughed. Go ahead. No signal out here anyway. Harper stared down at her phone. The screen glowed faintly in the shadows. 9% battery. No bars, just a small rectangle of light in the darkness, like her chances of survival. How long have you been planning this? Harper asked. She needed time. Needed to think. The baby was kicking so hard it hurt. 18 months, Vanessa said proudly, since I started at Brett's firm. 18 months, before their wedding anniversary, before Harper even knew she was pregnant, before everything. Flashback memories crashed through Harper's mind. 14 months ago, that company party where Brett introduced Vanessa. This is my new business partner. Vanessa's firm handshake, her warm smile. I've heard so much about you, Harper. All lies. Every smile, every friendly text, every time Vanessa came to their house for dinner and complimented Harper's cooking. Lies layered on lies. "You were at our baby shower," Harper said, dazed. "You brought the most expensive gift." "For appearance," Vanessa shrugged. "People expect the business partner to be generous." "The nursery," Harper continued, memories flooding back. "You helped me pick out the paint colors." "Lavender and sage," Vanessa nodded. "Very calming. Shame the baby will never see it." The casual cruelty took Harper's breath away. She looked at Brett, searched his face for any hint of the man she'd married. The man who'd cried when she showed him the positive pregnancy test. The man who'd spent hours researching baby names. Nothing. Just cold calculation. "I don't understand," Harper whispered. "If you needed money, we could have sold the house. I could have gone back to work. We could have figured it out." "Divorce splits assets," Brett explained patiently. "This way, I get everything. Your inheritance from your dad, the house, the life insurance, everything." Her father's money, $200,000 he'd left her before his heart attack 5 years ago. She'd put it in their joint account, for their future together. Brett had been draining it for months. She'd noticed the statements, asked about transfers. He'd said something about investments, real estate opportunities. She'd trusted him. "You gambled it away," Harper said suddenly. Understanding clicked into place. "That's why you need the insurance money. You lost everything." Brett's jaw tightened, first real emotion she'd seen. Anger. "I made some bad investments," he corrected. $87,000 in gambling debts, Vanessa added, "plus the business is bankrupt. Your father's money barely covered the interest payments." Harper's knees buckled. Brett caught her, held her upright. Again, not kindness, just keeping her conscious for whatever came next. "The life insurance pays out in 30 days, Brett said. "We scheduled the concrete pour for tomorrow morning. Official construction accident. Tragic. Pregnant wife visiting her husband's job site. Unstable ground. She fell. The crew didn't see her. They started pouring." "Horrible tragedy," Vanessa echoed. "I'll cry at your funeral. Real tears, probably. I'm actually quite good at funerals." "They'll find you eventually," Brett continued. 6 months from now when they excavate. If they find you at all. By then the money's spent. The debts are paid. Vanessa and I are somewhere warm." "Together," Vanessa added, linking her arm through Brett's. "Finally, without you in the way." Harper wanted to scream, to rage, to fight. But she was 7 months pregnant, dizzy with fear and outnumbered. 2 against 1. 3 if you counted the baby, but the baby made her vulnerable. Not strong. "Someone will know," Harper said desperately. "My mom, Connor, Lauren. They'll figure it out." "Your mother thinks we're house hunting today," Brett said. "I texted her from your phone this morning. Said we were looking at properties in Bend. 5-hour drive. You won't be reported missing until late tonight at the earliest." "Connor is deployed," Vanessa added. "Won't be back for 3 months. By then, you'll be concrete." Her brother, Navy SEAL, 15 years of service, currently overseas on a mission he couldn't talk about. She got in a brief email last week. "Stay safe, Harper Bug. Can't wait to meet my niece when I get home." He'd never meet her now. "Lauren thinks you're on bed rest," Brett continued. "We've been answering your texts all week. She believes you're resting. Doctor's orders." Horror washed over Harper. "You cloned my phone." 3 weeks ago, Brett confirmed. "Your password is our anniversary. Was our anniversary. Made it very easy." Every text, every call, every photo of her ultrasounds she'd sent to her mom and Lauren and Connor. Brett had seen them all, had access to everything, her whole life monitored and manipulated. "This is insane," Harper said. "You're both insane. You can't just kill someone for money." "People do it all the time," Vanessa said. "We're just smarter about it than most." "Are we?" Brett checked his watch. "We need to move this along. Concrete mixer rental is expensive." He and Vanessa lifted Harper between them. She fought, screamed, kicked. Her dress tore more. Her shoes fell off. Gravel cut into her bare feet. They positioned her at the edge of the pit. "Any last words?" Vanessa asked, still recording. Harper looked directly into the camera. into Vanessa's cold eyes behind it. "I'm not crazy," Harper said clearly. "I know what I saw. I know what's happening. And somehow, some way, the truth will come out. It always does." Vanessa stopped recording, lowered the phone. "No," she said softly. "It doesn't." Then they pushed. Harper fell, 8 feet through empty air. She twisted, tried to land on her side to protect the baby. Hit hard. All the air rushed from her lungs. Pain exploded through her hip, her shoulder. But the baby, she checked immediately, hands on her belly. Movement, thank God. Movement. Above her, Brett and Vanessa's faces appeared at the edge of the pit, backlit by the golden afternoon sun, like angels, like demons. "Sorry, Harper," Brett said, and his voice actually sounded regretful. "You were a good wife. I was just a terrible husband." "The worst," Vanessa agreed cheerfully. Then they walked away. Harper heard their footsteps on gravel, heard the concrete mixer start up. The sound was deafening, mechanical, final. She scrambled to her feet, ignoring the pain. The pit walls were too high, too smooth. She tried to climb anyway. Her fingers found no purchase in the dirt. She fell back down, landing on her hands and knees. Her phone. Where was her phone? There, in the corner, still glowing. 8% battery. Harper grabbed it, her hands shaking so hard she almost dropped it. No signal. She tried anyway. 911. Call failed. She tried again. Call failed. Text message. Maybe text messages could get through. She started typing to Lauren, to her mom, to anyone. "Help! Brett trying to kill me. Construction site, Highway 26. Help!" Message failed to send. The mixer's roar grew louder. Harper looked up, saw the first pour of concrete beginning. Gray sludge, thick and heavy, flowing into the opposite corner of the pit. She had minutes, maybe less. The baby kicked frantically. "I know, Lily Rose," Harper whispered to her belly. "I know you're scared. Mama's scared too." She examined her prison. 10 by 10 feet, 8 feet deep, dirt walls on 3 sides, wood framing on one, rebar creating a grid overhead where the concrete would set. In one corner, the earth had a slight overhang where it bulged out. Behind it, rebar created a small hollow space. Harper wedged herself into that corner, used her body to create a barrier between the hollow space and the rest of the pit. If she could create an air pocket, if she could protect her belly, if she could just survive until someone came. But who would come? No one knew she was here. The concrete reached her feet, cold, thick, smelling of chemicals. Harper pressed herself further into the corner. The wood framing had a loose board. She worked it with bleeding fingers, trying to create more space, more air. The concrete climbed to her ankles. Above, she heard Vanessa's voice. "How much longer?" "Patience," Brett replied. "We do this right, or we do it twice." The concrete reached her calves. Harper's phone battery hit 7%. She turned on the flashlight, used the light to examine the air pocket she'd created. Small, too small, but maybe enough. She turned off the light to save battery. Darkness swallowed her. The concrete reached her knees. Harper Mitchell had been a nurse for 6 years before her pregnancy. She knew what happened when concrete hardened. The weight, the compression, the suffocation. She had minutes of air, maybe 20, maybe less, with her racing heart consuming oxygen faster. The concrete reached her thighs. Harper positioned her body to keep her belly above the concrete line, tucked her phone into her bra, pressed her back against the loose board, and prayed for a miracle that seemed impossible. The concrete stopped rising at Harper's mid-thigh, cold, heavy, already starting to harden. She could feel it tightening around her legs like a vice. In the darkness, every sense amplified. The chemical smell burned her nose. The weight pressed down, and the baby kicked, kicked, kicked. "Stay strong, sweetheart," Harper whispered. "Mama's going to get us out of this." But how? She was buried in concrete in the middle of nowhere on a Sunday afternoon with no phone signal and a battery at 7%. Above, Brett's voice drifted down. "That's enough. 3 feet of concrete. She's gone." "Should we check?" Vanessa asked. A pause. Harper held her breath. "Check what?" Brett replied. "She's buried. It's done." I just wanted to be sure. You having second thoughts? God, no. I'm just ready to start our life. Harper heard footsteps walking away from the pit. The mixer shut off. Silence descended, except for her own ragged breathing. They were leaving, just walking away like she was already dead. Harper's mind raced through memories, trying to understand how she'd ended up here. The signs had been everywhere, hadn't they? She just refused to see them. 20 months ago, their 5th wedding anniversary. Brett had been distant all evening, checking his phone constantly. Harper had chalked it up to work stress, made excuses. That's what you did when you love someone. You explained away the warning signs. 18 months ago, Vanessa Pierce joining Brett's real estate firm. Harper remembered meeting her at the company Christmas party. Vanessa in a red dress that probably cost more than Harper's car. Confident, beautiful, smart, everything Harper felt she wasn't. Your husband speaks so highly of you, Vanessa had said, shaking Harper's hand. He says you're the heart of his life. Harper had blushed. He's sweet. He's lucky, Vanessa had replied, and her smile had seemed genuine. Now Harper knew better. Vanessa had been evaluating her, deciding if Harper was a threat, concluding she wasn't. 16 months ago, the late night started. Big project, Brett explained. Vanessa and I are working on closing a major deal. Harper had brought them dinner at the office once, found them bent over blueprints, shoulders touching. They'd sprung Brett when she entered. You're an angel, Brett had said, kissing her cheek, but his lips had been cold. 14 months ago, Harper's best friend Lauren pulled her aside after a dinner party. I don't trust Vanessa around your husband. The way she looks at him. Harper had laughed, actually laughed. Brett would never cheat. He's not that kind of man. How do you know? Lauren had asked gently. Because I know him. We've been married 5 years. I know who he is. But she hadn't, not really. You never really knew someone, did you? You just knew the version of themselves they chose to show you. 12 months ago, Harper had found a receipt in Brett's pocket while washing laundry. Expensive jewelry from a boutique she'd never been to. Her anniversary was months away. Her birthday had passed. No occasion she could think of. It's for a client, Brett had explained when she asked. Business gift. She'd believed him. Why wouldn't she? He was her husband. The father of her unborn child. You believed your husband. 10 months ago, Harper got pregnant. She'd been so happy, so excited. Brett's reaction had been muted. That's great, he'd said, but his smile hadn't reached his eyes. You don't seem excited, Harper had ventured. I am, just surprised. We weren't trying yet. I know, but isn't it wonderful? A happy accident. An accident, Brett had repeated. Right, she'd explained away his reaction. Work stress, money worries. Men processed fatherhood differently than women. All the things the pregnancy forums told her. 8 months ago, the baby shower, Vanessa had brought a $400 bassinet, top of the line. Only the best for my business partner's baby, she'd said, hugging Harper. Harper had been touched. You didn't have to spend so much. I wanted to, Vanessa had insisted. Brett's like family to me. Family. Harper hadn't caught the double meaning then. 6 months ago, the life insurance policy. Brett had brought it up casually over dinner. We need to protect Lily Rose's future, if anything happens to either of us. Nothing's going to happen, Harper had protested. You never know, Brett had said. Accidents happen. We need to be prepared. So she'd signed $2 million. She'd skimmed the policy, seen her name as beneficiary if Brett died, assumed the reverse was true, never thought to check. 4 months ago, Brett started working out. New clothes, new cologne. Just want to get in shape, he'd said. For another woman, not for Harper, never for Harper. 2 months ago, Harper's phone started acting weird. Apps opening on their own, battery draining faster. You probably need an update, an update, Brett had said helpfully. Let me fix it for you. He'd cloned it, installed spyware, been reading every email, every private conversation with her mother and Lauren. 1 month ago, Vanessa had stopped by the house unannounced. Just checking on our mama, she'd said, bringing expensive pregnancy tea. She'd used the bathroom. Harper had found one of her hairpins on the bedroom floor later. In their bedroom. In Harper's bathroom. She'd been marking her territory even then. 2 weeks ago, Brett had been especially tender, rubbing Harper's swollen feet, bringing her ice cream at midnight, kissing her belly and whispering to the baby. "I love you," he'd said. "I love you too," Harper had replied. One of them had been lying. Harper just hadn't known which one. 3 days ago, Brett had suggested a drive. "Let's go look at houses in Bend. Start fresh, new city, new opportunities." Harper had been thrilled. A fresh start sounded perfect, away from the pressure of Portland, closer to nature, good schools for Lily Rose. She'd spent hours researching neighborhoods, making lists, dreaming about their future. Their future, what a joke. Yesterday, Brett had made her favorite breakfast, blueberry pancakes with real maple syrup. He'd kissed her goodbye 3 times, touched her belly gently. "See you tonight, girls," planning her murder even as he kissed her. This morning, Dr. Brennan called, emergency with the baby. The last lie, the one that brought her here, buried alive in concrete while 7 months pregnant, trapped in the dark with her phone dying and her air running out. Harper's chest tightened, not from lack of oxygen, from rage, pure white-hot rage. These people, her husband, his mistress, they'd planned this for 18 months. 18 months of lies and manipulation and fake smiles while plotting to bury her alive for insurance money. "No," Harper said aloud to the darkness. "No, I'm not dying here." She was Harper Mitchell. Before she was Harper Dalton, she was Harper Mitchell, daughter of Thomas Mitchell, who'd raised her to be strong. Sister to Connor Mitchell, Navy SEAL who'd taught her to never give up. Nurse, survivor, mother. Mitchells don't quit, Connor had told her when she was struggling through nursing school. Mitchells find a way. Okay, Connor, okay, she'd find a way. Harper examined her air pocket again. The loose board in the framing had created a gap, small, maybe 6 inches, but it opened to the outside. She pressed her face to the gap. Fresh air. Not much, but more than she'd had. She could hear sounds from outside now. A truck engine in the distance. Growing closer. Hope sparked. Someone was coming. On a Sunday evening. Who would come to a construction site on a Sunday evening? The engine grew louder. Multiple vehicles. Tires on gravel. Harper's phone battery hit 6%. She had one chance, one call. If there was signal, if the vehicles were close enough to boost the signal. She pulled out her phone. 1 bar, flickering, unstable. She dialed 911. The call connected. 911, what's your emergency? I'm buried alive, Harper screamed. Construction site, Highway 26, please. He's trying to kill me. I'm pregnant. Please help. Ma'am, stay calm. Can you tell me exactly where? The call dropped. 0 bars, but maybe the dispatcher had gotten enough. Maybe they'd send someone. Harper's phone hit 5%. She turned it off to save what little battery remained. In the darkness, she heard voices above. Not Brett, not Vanessa. Different voices. Male. Authoritative. What are you doing here on a Sunday? Harper knew that voice. She knew it. Connor. Her brother Connor. Impossible. He was deployed. Overseas. Thousands of miles away. But that was Connor's voice. She'd know it anywhere. Harper screamed, Connor! Connor, I'm down here! Help me! The concrete muffled her voice. Would he hear? Could he hear? Did you hear that? Connor's voice, sharp and alert. Hear what? Another male voice. Marcus Rodriguez, maybe. Connor's friend who worked construction. Thought I heard something. Hold on. Footsteps approaching the pit. Fast, running. Harper screamed again. Connor, help! I'm in the pit! Light appeared above. A phone flashlight. Then Connor's face looking down. His eyes went wide. Harper? Help me, Harper sobbed. Please help me. Marcus, call 911. Connor bellowed, then to Harper. Hold on, Harper Bug. Hold on, I'm coming. He jumped, 8 feet straight down without hesitation, landed in a crouch beside her. Navy SEAL training making the impossible look easy. His hands found her face in the darkness. Are you hurt? Is the baby okay? Baby's kicking. I'm stuck. Concrete. Connor's flashlight swept over the situation. His jaw clenched so tight Harper heard his teeth grind. Brett did this, Connor said. Not a question, a statement. Him and Vanessa, life insurance, they were going to bury me. They're still here, Connor said quietly, dangerously. Above ground, trying to leave. Don't let them go, Harper begged. Please, they can't get away with this. They won't, Connor promised. His voice held a quality Harper had never heard before. Cold fury, controlled violence. The voice of a warrior who just found his sister buried alive. Marcus, Connor called up. Nobody leaves this site. Block the vehicles. Already on it. Marcus's voice drifted down. Connor began chipping at the concrete around Harper's legs. It had only partially hardened, still workable. But time was critical. Above, Harper heard new sounds, sirens, multiple sirens, getting closer. The cavalry's here, Connor said, working faster. Just hold on. How are you here? Harper asked. You're supposed to be deployed. Got home yesterday, wanted to surprise you, came to prep the site for tomorrow. He paused his chipping, looked at her with eyes full of rage and love. Thank God I did. Mitchells don't quit, Harper whispered. Never, Connor confirmed, and Mitchells protect their own. More faces appeared at the edge of the pit. Paramedics, police, equipment being lowered. Harper heard Brett's voice, panicked. This is a misunderstanding. My wife had a psychotic break, pregnancy hormones. Save it, a new voice said. Detective Walsh, Harper recognized him. We have the 911 call, your wife's testimony. And oh, what's this? A pause. A phone recording? Well now, that's convenient. Evidence? Vanessa. Her phone still recording when they'd left the site. It had recorded everything. Connor looked at Harper and smiled. Not his usual smile. Something darker, more satisfied. Justice, he said simply. And Harper, buried in concrete but surrounded by rescuers, finally felt safe. The jackhammer was too dangerous near a pregnant woman. So Connor and the construction crew chipped concrete by hand, each piece carefully removed while paramedics monitored Harper's vitals from above. Blood pressure elevated but stable, one paramedic called down. Fetal heartbeat strong, 145 beats per minute. Harper kept her hand on her belly. Lily Rose was still kicking, still fighting, like her mama. Almost there, Connor murmured, his hands gentle despite their urgency. Concrete dust covered his tactical vest. His face was grim with concentration. Just a little more, Harper Bug. The childhood nickname made Harper want to cry. Connor had called her that since she was 6 years old. Harper Bug, because she'd collected ladybugs in jars that summer. Their father had been alive then. Mom had been happy. The world had made sense. 23 years later, nothing made sense, except Connor's steady presence in the dark. Above ground, chaos reigned. Harper could hear voices, commands, the electronic whir of body cameras being activated. Brett Dalton, you're under arrest for attempted murder. Vanessa Pierce, you're under arrest for attempted murder and conspiracy. This is insane. Vanessa's voice shrill now, panic replacing that cold calculation. I want my lawyer. You'll get your phone call at the station, Detective Walsh replied. Right now, you're both coming with me. I didn't do anything, Brett protested. She's my wife. I would never hurt her. Marcus's voice cut through, cold and hard. Then explain the concrete, jackass. The last chunk around Harper's legs broke free. Connor carefully lifted her, supporting her weight. Can you stand? Harper tried. Her legs were numb, bruised, bleeding from rebar cuts. But they held. I can stand, she said. That's my girl. Connor's voice cracked slightly, the only sign of emotion he'd shown since jumping into the pit. They'd rigged a harness from above. Paramedics lowered it down. Connor secured it around Harper, his hands efficient and professional despite the fury she could feel radiating from him. Lift, he called up. The harness tightened. Harper rose slowly from the pit that should have been her grave. Inch by inch. The evening sky appeared above. Stars were starting to come out. Beautiful. Impossible. She was seeing stars. She thought she'd never see stars again. Hands reached for her at the top. Paramedics, gentle and quick. They laid her on a stretcher, immediately hooking up monitors. Blood pressure cuff, fetal heart monitor, IV line. Connor vaulted out of the pit behind her. No harness needed. 8 feet might as well have been 8 inches for a Navy SEAL. "I'm riding with her," Connor told the paramedics, not asking, telling. "Sir, we need space to work." "I'm riding with her." Connor's tone left no room for argument. The lead paramedic, a woman in her 40s with kind eyes, nodded. "You can sit up front." But Connor stayed by Harper's side as they loaded her into the ambulance. His hand gripped hers, concrete dust and blood staining both their palms. Harper turned her head, looking for Brett and Vanessa. She needed to see them, needed to see justice beginning. There, by the police cars, Brett in handcuffs being read his Miranda rights. His face was pale, shocked, like he couldn't believe this was happening. Vanessa was screaming at Detective Walsh. "He made me do it! Brett forced me! I have evidence! Check my phone!" "Oh, we will," Walsh assured her. "In fact, your phone is evidence now. Thank you for recording your entire confession." Vanessa's face went white. "What? No, that recording was for protection. Against Brett. He threatened me." "Funny," Walsh said mildly. "You don't sound threatened on the recording. You sound enthusiastic." Brett tried to approach the ambulance. 2 officers blocked him. "Harper," he called out. "Harper, please, this is all a misunderstanding. I can explain." Connor stepped between Brett and the ambulance. His voice was quiet, lethal. "You buried my pregnant sister alive." "Connor, listen!" Connor's fist broke Brett's nose. The crack was audible. Blood spurted. Brett fell to his knees, howling. "Connor!" Detective Walsh grabbed him. "Stand down." "He buried her alive," Connor repeated. His voice shook now, all that control fracturing. "I found her in concrete. My sister. My pregnant sister." "I know," Walsh said firmly, "and he'll pay for it. But not like this. Let the system work." Connor let Walsh pull him back, but his eyes never left Brett's face. The message was clear. If the system failed, Connor wouldn't. The ambulance doors closed. The siren wailed. They pulled away from the construction site, from Brett and Vanessa and their collapsed murder plot. Harper watched through the back window as the scene receded. Police lights flashing, crime scene tape going up. Her husband and his mistress in handcuffs. "Ma'am, I need you to focus on me," the paramedic said. "How far along are you?" 7 months, Harper managed. 29 weeks and 4 days. "Any contractions?" "No, just kicking. She's been kicking the whole time." "That's good. That's very good. Strong baby you've got there." "She's a fighter," Harper whispered, "like her Uncle Connor." In the front seat, Connor's shoulders shook. Just once, then he was still. The hospital was 30 minutes away. 30 minutes of vital signs checks and reassuring words in the steady beep of the fetal monitor showing Lily Rose's strong heartbeat. Harper's mother called Connor's phone. He answered on speaker. "Connor? What's wrong? Why are you calling? Is it Harper?" Diane's voice was tight with worry. "Mom, Harper's okay, but something happened. We're heading to Emmanuel Hospital. You need to meet us there." "What happened? Connor, tell me." Connor looked at Harper. She nodded. "Tell her." "Brett tried to kill her, Mom. He and his mistress buried her alive in concrete. I found her. She's safe now. The baby's safe. But you need to come to the hospital." Silence on the other end. Then a sound Harper had never heard from her mother. A wail, primal, anguished. "I'm coming," Diane managed. "I'm coming right now." She hung up. Connor closed his eyes. "She's going to have questions," he said quietly. "I know. Questions I don't have answers for. Like why? Why your husband would do this?" "Money," Harper said. "Life insurance, gambling debts, bankruptcy. He needed me dead." Connor's jaw clenched. "How much?" $2 million. Double for accidental death. $4 million. Connor's voice was flat. "He tried to murder you and his daughter for $4 million. And to be with Vanessa. The mistress." "Yes." Connor was quiet for a long moment. Then, "He's lucky I only broke his nose." The ambulance pulled into the emergency bay. Hospital staff swarmed. Harper was transferred to a gurney, wheeled through automatic doors into bright lights and antiseptic smells. She'd worked here 6 years as an ER nurse before her pregnancy. She recognized faces, colleagues, friends. Harper? Jenny from the night shift stared. Oh my God, Harper! Word spread fast. Within minutes, it felt like the entire ER staff knew. The pregnant nurse who'd been buried alive by her husband, rescued by her Navy SEAL brother. It sounded like a movie, but the concrete dust in Harper's hair was real. The bruises blooming on her legs were real. The trauma was real. Dubauer Elena Brennan arrived in the ER within 20 minutes, still in her weekend clothes, hair pulled back in a messy bun, face creased with concern. Harper, Doc Brennan said, taking her hand. I just heard. I never called Brett. There was no emergency appointment. I know, Harper said. It was a lie to get me in the car. Dr. Brennan's face hardened. They used me, used my name to lure you into a trap. Can you check the baby? Please? I need to know she's okay. Of course. Let's do a full workup. The ultrasound showed Lily Rose perfect and healthy, moving, hiccuping, unbothered by her mother's near-death experience. The image on the screen brought tears to Harper's eyes. She's perfect, Dr. Brennan said softly. Heart rate excellent, growth on track, no signs of distress. She's a resilient little one. Like her mama, Connor said from the doorway. Dr. Brennan ordered overnight observation. You've been through massive trauma, the stress, the physical impact. We need to monitor you both carefully. Harper was moved to a private room on the maternity ward. 2-hour observation windows, nurses checking vitals, fetal monitors, IV fluids, and Connor standing guard at her door like a sentinel. Diane arrived at 9 p.m., burst into the room with mascara running and hands shaking, collapsed into the chair beside Harper's bed, and sobbed. My baby girl. Harper held her mother while they both cried. All the fear, all the horror, all the relief. It poured out in waves. He seemed so nice, Diane kept repeating. Brett seemed so nice. How did I not see? None of us saw, Harper whispered. He fooled everyone. Detective Walsh arrived at 10 p.m. with a laptop and evidence bags. He pulled up a chair, his face kind but professional. Ms. Dalton, I need your statement. I know this is difficult, but everything you tell me helps build the case. So Harper told him everything. The drive, the construction site, the confession, the burial, every detail she could remember. Walsh recorded it all. Then he showed her the evidence they'd collected. Brett and Vanessa's joint bank account, hidden from Harper, 14 months of transactions, life insurance documents, Harper's signature forged, Brett as sole beneficiary, text messages between Brett and Vanessa, explicit, planning. Can't wait to start our life together after the accident. Email correspondence with the insurance company. Brett confirming beneficiaries, setting up direct deposit. Vanessa's calendar on her phone. Today's date marked poor day with a champagne emoji, and the recording. Vanessa's phone had captured everything. Every cruel word, every confession, every damning detail. Walsh played it for Harper. She had to hear her own voice. Your daughter, Brett's reply. She's a complication. Vanessa's laugh, the mixer starting. Harper's screams, Brett's calm voice. Make sure it's even, babe. Harper closed her eyes. Diane made a sound like she'd been punched. That's enough, Connor said quietly. She doesn't need to hear more. Actually, this recording is our strongest evidence, Walsh said. Vanessa Pierce meant it as insurance against Brett. If he tried to turn on her, she had proof of his involvement. She didn't realize she was also documenting her own guilt. What happens now? Harper asked. Arraignment tomorrow. They'll both be charged with attempted murder in the first degree and conspiracy to commit murder. Oregon law, that's 25 years to life, each. Will they get bail? Not if I have anything to say about it, Walsh replied. The evidence is overwhelming. The crime is heinous. Flight risk is high. I'll be recommending they remain in custody until trial. Trial, the word hung in the air. Harper would have to face them again, testify, relive everything. But for Lily Rose, for justice, she would do it. Walsh gathered his evidence, stood to leave, paused at the door. Your 911 call saved your life, he said. The dispatcher traced your location. We were already en route when your brother arrived. If he hadn't gotten there first, well, you're very lucky. Not luck, Connor said. Timing. I had a feeling. Called it instinct. After Walsh left, Diane went home to rest. Connor refused to leave. Set up camp in the chair beside Harper's bed. You should sleep, Harper told him. I'm fine. Connor. I'm not leaving you, Harper Bug. Get used to it. She didn't argue. The truth was, she didn't want to be alone. Every time she closed her eyes, she was back in the pit. Darkness, concrete, running out of air. Thank you, Harper whispered, for coming, for being there. Always, Connor replied. That's what family does. Harper's phone, recovered from the pit and now charging, buzzed with messages. Lauren, friends, colleagues, all offering support, love, disbelief. One message stood out. From Brett's mother, Carol. We need to talk about this misunderstanding. Brett would never hurt you. Please call me. Misunderstanding. The word made Harper want to scream. She showed Connor the message. He read it, face darkening. Delete it, he said. She's in denial. She's an idiot. Delete it. Harper deleted it, blocked Carol's number, blocked Melissa's number, blocked everyone connected to Brett. They weren't her family anymore. They never had been. Around midnight, Harper finally slept, fitful, filled with nightmares of falling in concrete and darkness. She woke to Connor's hand on hers. You're safe. I'm here. You're safe. And for the first time in 18 months, Harper actually believed it. Morning came with September sun streaming through hospital windows. Harper woke to the sound of nurses changing shifts and Lily Rose kicking her ribs. Connor was still in the chair beside her bed, eyes closed but not sleeping. His body held that alert stillness of someone trained to wake at the slightest threat. You stayed all night, Harper said. Connor's eyes opened. Told you I would. A nurse entered with breakfast tray and medications. Her name tag read Rachel. She'd worked with Harper in the ER. Good morning, sweetie, Rachel said gently. How are you feeling? Sore, tired, alive. Alive is good. Rachel checked vitals, adjusted the fetal monitor. Baby's heartbeat is beautiful, 138, perfect range. Your blood pressure is coming down, 120/75. Better than last night? Much better. You're a strong woman, Harper. What you survived. Rachel's voice trailed off. She didn't need to finish. Everyone knew what Harper had survived. The hospital gossip network was faster than any newswire. Dr. Brennan arrived during morning rounds. She examined Harper thoroughly, asked a dozen questions, reviewed all the overnight monitoring data. I'm clearing you for discharge, Dr. Brennan said finally, with strict conditions. Bed rest for 1 week minimum. No stress. Someone with you at all times. Follow-up appointment in 3 days. Any contractions, bleeding, or decreased fetal movement, you come straight back. Understood? Understood. I'm also referring you to Dr. Sarah Bennett. She's a trauma specialist. What you experienced is beyond normal stress. You'll need support processing with it. I'm fine, Harper said automatically. Dr. Brennan gave her a look. No, you're not, and that's okay. What happened to you was horrific. Trauma counseling isn't weakness, it's smart recovery. Harper nodded. Okay, I'll see Dr. Bennett. Good, because if you don't, I'll call her myself. Dr. Brennan's stern expression softened. You're one of us, Harper. We take care of our own here. Diane arrived at 9 a.m. with fresh clothes, toiletries, and Harper's favorite breakfast from the cafe downtown. Blueberry muffin and chai tea. She also brought a visitor who made Connor stand up so fast he knocked over his chair. Tyler Mitchell stood in the doorway. Harper's oldest brother, 41 years old, Navy dress uniform, looking exactly like he had 7 years ago when Harper thought he'd died in Afghanistan. Tyler? Harper's voice came out as a squeak. You're dead. Classified mission, Tyler said. Couldn't contact family. Orders. 7 years, Connor exploded. 7 years? We thought you were dead. I know, I'm sorry. Diane made a sound between a laugh and a sob. All my babies. Together, all 3 of you. Tyler crossed to Harper's bed. knelt down, took her hand in his. "I saw the news," he said quietly. "Caught the first flight from Virginia. Harper Bug, I'm so sorry I wasn't here." "You're here now," Harper whispered. "That's what matters." The three Mitchell siblings, together for the first time since their father's funeral 9 years ago. Harper started crying. Connor's jaw worked. Tyler's eyes were suspiciously bright. Diane pulled them all into a group hug, awkward with Harper in the hospital bed, but necessary. Her family. Her real family. Not Brett. Never Brett. At 11 a.m., Detective Walsh returned with news. Arraignment had been that morning. Both Brett and Vanessa had pleaded not guilty. Both had requested bail. "Judge denied," Walsh reported. "Said the evidence was overwhelming. Flight risk was high. Danger to the victim was extreme. They'll remain in custody until trial." "When's the trial?" Harper asked. 3 months, December 15th. That gives us time to build an airtight case, though honestly, with that recording, we could go to trial tomorrow and win." 3 months, Harper repeated. "Lily Rose would be born by then. She'd be a mother, a single mother." "You'll need to testify," Walsh continued. "I know that's difficult, but your testimony combined with the physical evidence and the recording, they don't stand a chance." "I'll testify," Harper said. "I want to look them in the eyes when the verdict comes down." Walsh nodded approvingly. "That's the spirit. One more thing, Vanessa's lawyer is already trying to claim she was coerced, that Brett forced her participation. She's trying to turn on him." "Will that work?" Connor asked. "Not with the recording. She sounds pretty enthusiastic about the murder on tape. Hard to claim coercion when you're laughing about burying someone alive." After Walsh left, Lauren arrived with an overnight bag, phone charger, and about 17 questions. "Are you okay? Is the baby okay? What can I do? I brought clothes and your favorite pillow and that lavender sleep spray you like. And Lauren, breathe," Harper said, smiling despite everything. Lauren sat on the bed, careful not to jostle Harper. Her eyes were red from crying. "I can't believe this happened. I knew something was off about Brett. I told you. I know. You were right. I should have pushed harder, made you listen. I wasn't ready to hear it." Harper took Lauren's hand. "This isn't your fault. It feels like it should be someone's fault, besides Brett and that awful woman. It is their fault. Only theirs." Harper was discharged at 2 p.m. Connor drove her home in his truck. Tyler and Diane followed in Diane's car. Lauren brought up the rear in her hybrid. A convoy. A protective detail. Because Harper couldn't be alone anymore. When they pulled onto Harper Street, her heart sank. Media vans, reporters, cameras, word had gotten out. "Head down," Connor instructed. "Don't answer questions. Straight inside." Tyler and Connor flanked Harper as she walked from truck to front door. Reporters shouted questions. "Harper, how does it feel to survive your husband's murder attempt? Did you suspect the affair? Will you testify at trial? What would you say to other women in dangerous marriages?" Connor's voice cut through the chaos. "No comment. Give her space." Inside, the house felt wrong. Brett's presence everywhere. His coffee mug in the sink from Sunday morning. His shoes by the door. The newspaper he had been reading over breakfast. Breakfast he'd made before driving her to her own attempted murder. Harper stood in the living room, unable to move. This had been her home for 3 years. She'd chosen the furniture, painted the walls, built a life here, a life with a man who'd tried to kill her. "We can go to my place," Diane offered. "You don't have to stay here." "No," Harper said slowly. "This is my house. He doesn't get to drive me out of my own home." "That's my girl," Connor said. They spent the afternoon making the house feel safe again. Connor changed all the locks. Tyler installed a security system. Lauren went through and removed everything obviously Brett's. His clothes, his toiletries, his laptop that police had already confiscated for evidence. Harper stood in the doorway of the nursery, half-painted walls, lavender and sage. The colors she'd chosen with Vanessa's help. "I want to repaint," Harper said. Diane appeared beside her. "We can do that. What colors?" "The same colors. I chose them. I like them. Vanessa doesn't get to ruin them." First act of reclamation. That evening, Assistant District Attorney Patricia Morrison arrived. Late 40s, sharp blazer, impressive briefcase. She spread evidence across Harper's dining room table. I'm building a case that puts them away for life, Morrison said, and I don't lose. She showed Harper the timeline they'd constructed, 18 months of planning, text messages, bank statements, life insurance documents, everything documented and traceable. They weren't as clever as they thought, Morrison observed, left a digital trail a mile wide. Will I have to testify? Harper asked. Yes, I won't lie to you. It will be difficult, but your testimony is crucial. The jury needs to hear from you, see you, understand what they tried to do. I'll do it. I need to prepare you. Brett's lawyer will be aggressive. He'll try to paint you as unstable, claim pregnancy hormones, suggest you misunderstood their intentions. I was buried in concrete. I know, the evidence is overwhelming, but trials are unpredictable. His lawyer is Alan Chambers. Expensive, good at creating doubt. What about Vanessa's lawyer? Robert Hayes. He's already claiming coercion, trying to blame everything on Brett. Won't work with the recording, but he'll try. Morrison gathered her evidence. Trial set for December 15th, 3 months. That gives us time to prepare, to build an unbeatable case. They'll spend the rest of their lives in prison, Harper. I promise you that. After Morrison left, Harper sat in her living room, surrounded by family. Connor and Tyler on either side like bookends. Diane in the armchair. Lauren on the floor. Her village. Her real family. I need to tell you something, Harper said quietly. I knew. On some level, I knew about the affair. The lies. I just didn't want to see it. That's not weakness, Lauren said. That's trust. You trusted your husband. That's not a character flaw. It almost got me killed. No, Connor said firmly. His decision to murder you almost got you killed. Not your trust, not your love, his choice, his evil. Not yours. Harper's phone buzzed. Text from a blocked number. She almost didn't open it. Then curiosity won. This isn't over, Harper. You think you've won, but you haven't. I'll get out. I always do. And when I do, I'll finish what we started. Vanessa, from jail. How had she gotten a phone? Connor read the message over Harper's shoulder. His face went cold. Screenshot that, send it to Walsh, threatening a witness. That's additional charges. Harper forwarded the message to Detective Walsh. Got a reply within minutes. On it, investigating how she got phone access. This helps our case, thank you. That night, Harper tried to sleep in the bed she'd shared with Brett. Couldn't. The sheets smelled like his cologne. The pillow still had the indentation from his head. She stripped the bed, put on fresh sheets. Still couldn't sleep. Connor found her at 2 a.m. sitting in the nursery, arms wrapped around her belly, staring at the half-painted walls. Can't sleep? He asked. Can't stop thinking. Every time I close my eyes, I'm back in the pit. Connor sat beside her on the floor. That's normal. Trauma does that. How do you deal with it? You've seen combat, horrible things. Therapy, time, accepting that some scars don't heal, they just become part of who you are. I don't want this to be who I am. It won't be. It's what happened to you, not who you are. Connor put his arm around her shoulders. You're Harper Mitchell, nurse, sister, mother-to-be, survivor. That's who you are. Lily Rose kicked between them. Connor's hand went to Harper's belly. She's strong, he said, like her uncle, like her mother. They sat in the nursery until dawn, Connor telling Harper stories about their father, about growing up Mitchell, about strength that came not from never falling down, but from always getting back up. Mitchells don't quit, Connor said. Never, Harper agreed. And for the first time since Sunday afternoon, Harper believed she might actually be okay. The first week passed in a blur of bed rest and visitors and phone calls from lawyers. Harper's small house became command central for Operation Justice, as Lauren had dubbed it. Connor and Tyler took shifts staying with her. Diane came every morning with breakfast and left every evening after dinner. Lauren arrived after work with updates from the outside world. Harper wasn't allowed to leave. Doctor's orders. So the world came to her. On Wednesday, Brett's mother Carol and sister Melissa showed up unannounced. Connor answered the door. You're not welcome here, he said flatly. She's still my daughter-in-law, Carol insisted. I need to speak with her. Harper heard voices from the living room, heard Connor's refusal, made a decision. Let them in, she called out. Connor's expression said he thought this was a terrible idea, but he stepped aside. Carol Dalton was mid-60s, well-dressed, perfectly composed except for red-rimmed eyes. Melissa was 35, Brett's older sister. Skeptical expression. Arms crossed. They stood awkwardly in Harper's living room, the living room where Harper and Brett had celebrated anniversaries, hosted parties, built a life. "Thank you for seeing us," Carol said. "What do you want?" Harper asked. She stayed seated on the couch, belly prominent, at nearly 8 months pregnant now. A week had passed since the attempted murder. "Brett says this is all a misunderstanding," Carol began. Harper laughed. Actually laughed. The sound was harsh. "A misunderstanding. He buried me in concrete while I was 7 months pregnant." "He says you had a psychotic break," Melissa interjected. "Pregnancy hormones can cause—" "There's a recording," Harper interrupted. "He and Vanessa confessed to everything. Planning my murder for 18 months. The life insurance, the affair, everything." "Recordings can be doctored," Carol insisted. Tyler stepped forward from his position by the kitchen. "The recording is authenticated. The evidence is overwhelming. Your son attempted to murder his pregnant wife for insurance money." "He's my son," Carol's voice broke. "I know him. He wouldn't—" "You don't know him," Harper said quietly. "I was his wife for 5 years, and I didn't know him. He wore a mask, a very good one, but underneath he was always this person. We just didn't see it." Melissa's expression softened slightly. "If this goes to trial, it will destroy our family." "Your brother tried to destroy mine," Harper replied. "He tried to take my life, my daughter's life, my family's peace. He doesn't get forgiveness because it's inconvenient for you." "What about the baby?" Carol tried at another angle. "She deserves her father." Harper's hand went protectively to her belly. "She deserves better than a father who tried to murder her before she was born." "You're bitter," Melissa said. "Understandably. But ruining Brett's life—" "Get out!" Connor's voice was quiet but deadly. "Now." "Harper, please," Carol begged. "Drop the charges. We can work this out as a family." "That's not how attempted murder works," Harper said. "And you're not my family. Not anymore." Tyler opened the front door. "Time to go, ladies." Carol tried one more appeal. "You'll regret this." "I regret marrying him," Harper replied. "Nothing else." After they left, Harper sat shaking. Lauren appeared with tea, Connor with a stress ball, Tyler with the look of someone mentally calculating how many ways he could make Brett's life difficult. "That was hard," Lauren said. "That was necessary," Harper corrected. "They needed to hear it from me. I'm not backing down." The next visitor was Dr. Sarah Bennett, trauma specialist, mid-40s, kind eyes, gentle but direct manner. She made a house call at Dr. Brennan's insistence. "Tell me about Sunday," Dr. Bennett said, settling into the armchair. So Harper told her. Everything, the drive, the confession, the burial, the rescue, every detail poured out. Dr. Bennett listened without interrupting. When Harper finished, she asked simple questions. "How did that make you feel? What were you thinking? What helped you survive?" "You created the air pocket," Dr. Bennett observed. "You positioned your body to protect your baby. You screamed when you heard voices. You survived through your own actions first." Harper hadn't thought of it that way. She'd felt helpless, victimized. But Dr. Bennett reframed it. "You survived because you're a survivor," Dr. Bennett said. "Not lucky, not saved. A survivor who took action to stay alive." The distinction mattered. Harper felt something shift inside her, a small reclamation of power. "You'll experience PTSD symptoms," Dr. Bennett continued. "Flashbacks, nightmares, hypervigilance. That's normal after what you experienced. When does it stop? It doesn't stop. It transforms. You learn to carry it, to integrate it, to use it as fuel rather than let it consume you." Dr. Bennett taught Harper grounding techniques. 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. Present moment awareness, pulling yourself back from the past. They scheduled twice weekly sessions. Harper didn't argue. She needed this, needed help processing what had happened. That evening, Detective Walsh called with news. Brett and Vanessa had been denied bail again at a second hearing. The judge had called their crime particularly heinous and a danger to society. "They're not getting out," Walsh assured Harper. "Not before trial. Maybe not ever." The forensic accountant's report came in. Brett's business was bankrupt. $87,000 in gambling debts. Vanessa's money had been keeping the company afloat. Harper's inheritance from her father, $200,000, had been systematically drained. Joint account withdrawals. Harper's signature forged. "He stole from you for over a year," Walsh explained. "Used your father's money to pay gambling debts. When that ran out, murder became the solution." The life insurance policy was analyzed. Harper's signature was definitely forged. Expert testimony would prove it. "Every piece of evidence makes the case stronger," Walsh said. "Morrison is building something unbeatable." On Saturday, exactly 1 week after the attempted murder, Lauren organized a small gathering. "Reclaiming Your Life," she called it. Harper, Diane, Connor, Tyler, Lauren, and Dr. Brennan. They ordered pizza, watched a silly movie, pretended for a few hours that life was normal. Harper felt Lily Rose moving, hiccuping, doing somersaults. She'd survived because Lily Rose kept fighting too. "She's going to be tough," Diane said, hand on Harper's belly. "Like her mama." "Like all the Mitchell women," Tyler added. Sunday arrived, 1 week since the burial. Harper woke early, drove by Connor to the construction site. She needed to see it, face it. The site was still cordoned off with crime scene tape. The pit had been filled in, evidence collected, but the memory remained. Harper stood at the edge where she'd fallen, where Brett and Vanessa had tried to bury her alive. "You okay?" Connor asked, hand on her shoulder. "I survived this," Harper said. "I can survive anything." "Yes, you can." They stood in silence. Then Harper turned away. "Let's go home." In the truck, Harper made a decision. "I'm selling the house." "Good," Connor agreed. "Too many bad memories. I'll find something smaller. Closer to Mom, a fresh start for me and Lily Rose. We'll help you move." That evening, mail arrived at Harper's house, forwarded from her P.O. box. Inside, a letter postmarked last Sunday morning, before the attempted murder. From Vanessa. Harper's hands shook as she opened it. "Dear Harper, by the time you read this, you'll either be dead or you'll have figured out what's happening. Either way, you should know. I never liked you. From the moment Brett introduced us, I saw you as an obstacle. You were sweet, kind, trusting, everything I'm not. Everything Brett didn't really want. He wanted excitement, danger, me. The pregnancy was unfortunate timing. We would have waited, but you were getting suspicious, so we moved up the timeline. I don't expect you to understand. You're too good for that. That's always been your problem. You're too good, and in this world, the good don't always win. Love, Vanessa." Harper read it aloud to her family. Connor wanted to use it as evidence immediately, but Harper saw something else. The arrogance, the assumption Harper would be dead, the assumption Vanessa would win. She was so sure, Harper said, so confident she'd get away with it. "She was wrong," Lauren replied. "Completely wrong," Tyler added. Harper looked at the letter, at Vanessa's neat handwriting, her casual cruelty, her certainty. "The good don't always win," Harper quoted. "But this time, we did." She photographed the letter, sent it to Detective Walsh and ADA Morrison. Additional evidence of premeditation, of malice. She gift-wrapped her own conviction, Connor observed. That night, Harper slept better. Not well. Nightmares still came, but shorter, less intense. She dreamed of Lily Rose, of holding her daughter, of building a life without Brett's shadow over it. Progress, slow, painful, but real. In the morning, Harper stood in the nursery. The half-painted walls bothered her. She found paintbrushes. Connor helped her finish the job. Lavender and sage. The colors she'd chosen. Not Vanessa, not Brett. Her. Each brushstroke was reclamation. Each completed wall was victory. "It's beautiful," Diane said from the doorway. "It's ours," Harper replied. "Mine and Lily Rose's, no one else's." The crib Connor had ordered arrived that afternoon. Whitewood, simple, safe. He assembled it while Harper supervised. You're nesting, Lauren observed. I'm preparing, Harper corrected. Lily Rose comes in 6 weeks. I need to be ready. You'll be ready, Connor assured her. We all will. That evening, Harper received an email from Brett's lawyer, Alan Chambers, requesting a meeting, suggesting a plea deal might be possible. She forwarded it to Morrison. Got a reply within minutes. Ignore him, they're desperate. The evidence is overwhelming. No deals. Harper deleted the email. Blocked Chambers' address. No deals. No mercy. Just justice. She looked around her living room. At Connor reading a book. Tyler working on his laptop. Diane knitting baby booties. Lauren scrolling through her phone. Her family, her village, her strength. Brett had tried to isolate her, control her, kill her. Instead, he'd shown her who she really was. Harper Mitchell, survivor, fighter, mother-to-be, and she was just getting started. 3 weeks after the attempted murder, Harper's world had settled into a new normal. Twice-weekly therapy with Dr. Bennett, daily check-ins with Detective Walsh, constant presence of family, and a growing sense that she might actually survive this, not just physically, emotionally. The nightmares continued. Every night, Harper was back in the pit. Darkness, concrete, running out of air. But Dr. Bennett's grounding techniques helped. 5 things you can see. 4 you can touch. Present moment, not the past. Harper was in the nursery folding tiny clothes when her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Then something made her pick up. Harper Dalton? A woman's voice. Professional, cautious. Speaking. This is Amanda Price from Oregon State Penitentiary. An inmate has requested to speak with you. Vanessa Pierce. She's claiming it's urgent. About the case. Harper's stomach dropped. What could she possibly have to say? She wouldn't tell me, just said it's information you need to hear. You're under no obligation to accept the call. Harper should say no, should hang up, should protect herself, but curiosity won. Put her through. A click, then Vanessa's voice. Different now. Smaller, less confident. Harper, thank you for taking my call. What do you want, Vanessa? I need you to know the truth. Brett forced me. He threatened me. Everything I said on that recording was coercion. Harper laughed, cold, hard. You're lying. I'm not. He said if I didn't help, he'd kill me too. I was terrified. The recording doesn't show terror. It shows enthusiasm. You laughed when I screamed. Silence. Then Vanessa's voice changed, back to that cold calculation Harper remembered. Fine, believe what you want. But you should know, Brett's planning something. From inside. He has connections. Money hidden. This isn't over. Yes, it is, Harper said firmly. You are both in prison. The trial is in 2 months. You'll both be convicted. It's over. You're naive, Vanessa hissed. You always were. That's why this was so easy. Harper hung up. Her hands shook. She forwarded the call details to Walsh immediately. He called back within minutes. Vanessa Pierce shouldn't have a phone access. This is a violation. I'm investigating. She said Brett's planning something. Empty threats. He has no power now. She's trying to scare you. Don't let her. But the call rattled Harper. That evening, she mentioned it to Connor and Tyler. Increase security, Tyler said immediately. I'll install cameras outside, motion sensors. She's in prison? Harper protested. What can she do? Probably nothing, Connor agreed, but we're not taking chances. The next day, Tyler installed a comprehensive security system, cameras at every entrance, motion sensors in the yard, panic buttons in every room. Overkill? Harper asked. No such thing, Tyler replied. That week, Harper had another visitor, Brett's lawyer, Alan Chambers. He showed up unannounced, tried to push past Connor at the door. I need to speak with Ms. Dalton. No, you don't, Connor blocked him. She has nothing to say to you. It's about a plea deal, information that could reduce Brett's sentence. She'll want to hear this. Harper appeared behind Connor. I don't want to hear anything from you. Leave my property. Ms. Dalton, please be reasonable. Your testimony could put your client away for life? Good, that's the plan. You're making a mistake. The only mistake I made was marrying him. Now leave before I call the police. Chambers left, but his visit unsettled Harper. They were getting desperate. Trial was 8 weeks away. The evidence was overwhelming. They were running out of options. Later that week, Harper's phone buzzed with a text from a blocked number. "I'm sorry, I never meant for it to go this far. Please forgive me. B. Brett, from prison." How did he keep getting phone access? Harper screenshot the message, sent it to Walsh and Morrison. Morrison called immediately. "Do not respond. Do not engage. This is witness intimidation. I'm filing additional charges." "He wants forgiveness," Harper said. "He wants to manipulate you. Don't fall for it." Harper blocked the number, but more texts came from different numbers. "I miss you. I think about Lily Rose every day. We can fix this. Drop the charges. We'll work it out." Each one forwarded to Morrison, each one building a stronger case. At Harper's next therapy appointment, Bennett addressed the contact attempts. "How does it make you feel?" she asked. "Angry, violated, like he still thinks he can control me." "Can he?" "No." Harper's voice was firm. "He has no power over me anymore." "Good. Remember that. His attempts to contact you are desperate, powerless. You hold all the cards now." That realization settled something in Harper. She'd been victimized, but she wasn't a victim. She was a survivor, taking back her power. 1 month before trial, Harper went into her 36th week of pregnancy, full term in 1 more week. Lily Rose could come anytime. Dr. Brennan ordered weekly monitoring. Everything looks perfect, but given the trauma, we're watching closely. Harper nested, finished the nursery, washed tiny clothes, assembled the changing table, packed her hospital bag. Connor installed the car seat. Tyler baby-proofed the house. Diane stocked the freezer with meals. Lauren organized a meal train. Her village. Preparing. 2 weeks before trial, ADA Morrison came to Harper's house for trial prep. "Brett's lawyer is going to attack your credibility," Morrison warned. "Suggest you're unstable. Misunderstood their intentions. You need to be ready." How do I prepare for that? By being honest, clear, unshakable. Tell the truth. The evidence backs you up. They practiced. Morrison playing devil's advocate, asking horrible questions. "Did you argue with Brett frequently?" "No." "Did you suspect the affair?" "I had concerns. I trusted my husband." "Could you have misunderstood what was happening at the construction site?" "I was buried in concrete. There's no misunderstanding that." "Did Brett ever abuse you before this incident?" "No, which is why I trusted him." "Why I didn't see this coming." Over and over until Harper's answers were automatic. True. Strong. "You're going to do great," Morrison assured her. "The jury will believe you." How could they not? 1 week before trial, Harper went to bed early, exhausted from preparation, from stress, from carrying an 8-pound baby at 37 weeks. She woke at 2 a.m. to wet sheets. Her water had broken. "Connor," Harper called. He was sleeping in the guest room, on his feet in seconds. "What's wrong?" "The baby. She's coming." Labor came fast. Contractions 5 minutes apart almost immediately. Connor drove her to the hospital, called Diane and Tyler and Lauren on the way. By 4 a.m., Harper was in active labor. By 8 a.m., she was fully dilated. By 9:30 a.m. on November 15th, Lily Rose Mitchell Dalton entered the world. 7 pounds, 3 ounces, full head of dark hair, Harper's eyes, no visible trace of Brett. Thank God. Harper held her daughter and sobbed. Relief, overwhelming love. "Hey, baby girl," Harper whispered. "We made it. We're okay." Lily Rose opened her eyes, looked directly at Harper, and in that moment, everything else fell away. The trauma, the fear, the upcoming trial. None of it mattered. Only this. Only her daughter. Diane cried. Connor took 1,000 photos. Teller stood guard even in the delivery room. Lauren brought balloons and tears of joy. Dr. Brennan delivered the baby herself. "She's perfect, Harper. Absolutely perfect." "She's everything," Harper agreed. The hospital room filled with flowers, gifts, visitors, love. No card from Brett. He didn't know his daughter had been born. Wouldn't know. His parental rights would be terminated as part of the plea deal Morrison was arranging. Not that Brett had agreed to it yet, but he would, eventually, when he realized he had no other choice. 3 days in the hospital, learning to breastfeed, changing diapers, navigating new motherhood. The nurses treated Harper like royalty, one of their own who'd survived the unthinkable. "You're a warrior," Rachel told her. "Raising a warrior." Going home was surreal. Harper's little house with the security system in the finished nursery. Lily Rose in the car seat Connor had installed. A family of 2, plus Connor and Tyler and Diane, who insisted on staying close. Plus Lauren, who came every day after work. A family of 6? No. A village. Trial was 1 week away, but Harper had more important things to focus on now. Midnight feedings, diaper changes, the way Lily Rose fit perfectly in the crook of her arm. This was what Brett and Vanessa had tried to destroy. This perfect love, this new life. They'd failed. Utterly and completely. 1 week later, Harper walked into the courthouse. Lily Rose with Diane, Connor and Tyler flanking Harper. Ready to face her abusers. Ready to tell her truth. Ready for justice. The Multnomah County Courthouse was modern glass and steel. Harper walked through security with Connor on one side, Tyler on the other. Her postpartum body was still adjusting. 3 weeks since giving birth. She'd pumped before leaving home, left Lily Rose with Diane and very specific feeding instructions. "You okay?" Connor asked. "No, but I'm doing this anyway." Inside, the courtroom was already filling. Media, spectators, people who'd followed the case. Harper's attempted murder had made national news. Pregnant woman buried alive. Rescued by Navy SEAL brother. Betrayed by husband and mistress. The story had everything. Harper took her seat behind the prosecution table. ADA Morrison looked sharp in a Navy suit. Confident. Ready. On the other side, Brett sat with his lawyer, Alan Chambers. Brett looked thinner. Older. Prison didn't suit him. Their eyes met across the courtroom. Harper didn't look away. Didn't flinch. He had no power over her anymore. Vanessa sat at a separate table with her lawyer, Robert Hayes. She tried to get a separate trial. Motion denied. They'd committed the crime together. They'd be tried together. "All rise." Judge Marianne Rodriguez entered, mid-50s, reputation for being tough but fair. She surveyed the courtroom with sharp eyes. "Be seated. We're here for the matter of Oregon versus Brett Dalton and Vanessa Pierce. Charges are attempted murder in the first degree and conspiracy to commit murder." The jury filed in, 8 women, 4 men. Morrison had chosen carefully. Women who'd sympathize with a pregnant victim. Men who'd be outraged by Brett's betrayal. Morrison's opening statement was powerful. "Ladies and gentlemen, this case is about greed, betrayal, and 2 people who valued money more than human life. You'll hear how Brett Dalton and Vanessa Pierce planned for 18 months to murder Brett's pregnant wife for a $2 million life insurance payout. You'll hear their confession recorded on Ms. Pierce's own phone. You'll hear from the Navy SEAL who rescued his sister from being buried alive in concrete. The evidence is overwhelming. The crime is heinous. Justice demands conviction." Alan Chambers stood for Brett's defense. "My client made mistakes. He had an affair. Not illegal. He made poor financial decisions. Also not illegal, but murder? Brett Dalton is not a murderer. He's a man who got in over his head with a dangerous woman. Vanessa Pierce orchestrated this entire plan. She manipulated him, threatened him. My client is guilty of adultery, not attempted murder." Robert Hayes presented Vanessa's defense. Vanessa Pierce is a successful businesswoman who made one mistake, falling in love with a married man. Brett Dalton pursued her relentlessly, told her his marriage was over, told her Harper was unstable. He convinced her to participate in what he called teaching Harper a lesson. She didn't know he intended murder until too late. She recorded everything as evidence because she was afraid. She's a victim, not a perpetrator. The prosecution's case began with physical evidence. Forensic specialists testified about concrete samples. Harper's DNA throughout the pit. Brett's clothing with concrete splatter matching the site. Photos of the scene made several jurors visibly uncomfortable. The pit, the forms, the mixer. One juror, a woman in her 50s, wiped tears. Day 2 brought financial evidence. The forensic accountant laid out Brett's bankruptcy, gambling debts, Vanessa's investments keeping the company afloat. The life insurance policy was their only way out, the accountant testified. $2 million, double for accidental death, $4 million total. How long before Mr. Dalton took out this policy did he know his business was failing? Morrison asked. 6 months. And how far along was Harper in her pregnancy when he took out the policy? 3 months. So he knew she was pregnant, knew his business was failing, and took out a massive life insurance policy on her. Correct. Chambers tried to object. Speculation. Overruled, Judge Rodriguez said. The timeline is relevant. Day 3 covered digital evidence, text messages between Brett and Vanessa, explicit discussions of the affair, veiled references to the plan and our future together. Vanessa's calendar showed poor day marked for September 22nd. Brett's Google search history was damning. How long for concrete to harden? Unconsciousness from lack of oxygen. Accidental death insurance payout timeline. Each search was time-stamped, dated, undeniable. Day 4 brought witness testimony. Connor took the stand first, described arriving at the construction site, finding Harper's purse, hearing her screams from the pit. What did you see when you looked at Owenden? Morrison asked. My sister, buried in concrete to her thighs, 7 months pregnant, trapped in the dark. Connor's voice remained steady, but his hands clenched. I've been deployed to war zones, seen horrible things, but finding Harper like that, he didn't finish, didn't need to. What did you do? Jumped in, started breaking concrete, called for emergency services, got her out. How long did the rescue take? 15 minutes. Felt like hours. On cross-examination, Chambers tried to suggest Connor had misinterpreted the scene. Isn't it possible your sister fell accidentally? That Mr. Dalton and Ms. Pierce were trying to help? Connor's look could have melted steel. There was a concrete mixer running. Fresh pour still wet. They were leaving the scene. That's not helping. That's murder. Marcus Rodriguez testified next, corroborated Connor's timeline, described blocking Brett and Vanessa's vehicles. They were trying to flee. That's consciousness of guilt. Dr. Brennan testified about the fake emergency appointment. I never called Brett Dalton. There was no issue with the pregnancy. My medical files were accessed illegally. Someone used my name to lure Harper into danger. Lauren Hayes described the affair's signs, her warnings to Harper, Brett's changed behavior. He was distant, cold, checked his phone constantly, classic affair behavior. Detective Walsh presented the investigation, evidence collection. The recording found on Vanessa's phone. She meant it as insurance against Mr. Dalton. Instead, she documented both their guilt. Day 5 brought the moment everyone was waiting for. The recording. Morrison stood. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to play the recording found on Ms. Pierce's phone. Proceed. The courtroom went silent. Morrison pressed play. Harper's voice, scared and confused. Our baby, your daughter. Brett's reply, cold and certain. She's a complication. Vanessa's laugh, Harper pleading. Someone will know, someone will figure it out. Brett explaining their plan, how they'd cover it up, how Harper would be concrete by the time anyone questioned her disappearance. The sound of the mixer starting. Harper's screams, Brett's calm instruction. Make sure it's even, babe. The recording lasted 4 minutes. When it ended, the courtroom was frozen. One juror was crying openly, another looked sick. Harper sat behind the prosecution table, hands folded. She'd heard the recording multiple times in preparation, but hearing it in open court, watching the jury's reactions, made it real in a new way. These people, her husband and his mistress, they'd done this, planned it, executed it, failed only because Connor had followed his instinct. Morrison let the silence stretch. Then, the defense has claimed Ms. Pierce was coerced, that she was afraid of Mr. Dalton. Does she sound afraid on that recording? No one answered. They didn't need to. Does Mr. Dalton sound manipulated, threatened, or does he sound like a man orchestrating murder? Still silence. The evidence speaks for itself. Both defendants are guilty. The recording proves it beyond any reasonable doubt. Court adjourned for the day. Harper walked out surrounded by family. Media shouted questions. She ignored them all. At home, Lily Rose was crying. Diane looked frazzled. She missed her mama. Harper took her daughter, sat in the nursery, nursed her while Connor stood guard at the door. "How was it?" Diane asked. "Hard. Necessary." Harper looked down at Lily Rose's perfect face. "But this is what matters. She's here. We're here." They failed. Tomorrow Harper would testify, face her abusers directly, tell her truth. Tonight she held her daughter and remembered why she was fighting. For Lily Rose. For justice. For herself. Harper woke early on day 6 of the trial, the day she'd testify. She showered, dressed in a simple blue dress that still fit her postpartum body. Professional, credible, a mother who'd survived the unthinkable. Lauren came over to help with her hair and makeup. Armor, she called it. Lily Rose nursed before Harper left, those dark eyes looking up at her mother. Harper kissed her daughter's forehead. "Mama's going to tell the truth today, and then we're going to be free." The courthouse was packed, more media than before. Word had spread that the victim would testify. Harper took the stand at 10 a.m., raised her right hand, swore to tell the truth. Morrison approached with kindness in her eyes. "Please state your name for the record." "Harper Mitchell Dalton." "Ms. Dalton, what happened on September 22nd of this year?" Harper took a breath, looked at the jury, not at Brett, not at Vanessa. "I was 7 months pregnant. My husband told me my doctor called about an emergency with the baby. I was terrified. We got in the car. He drove past my doctor's office. I asked where we were going. He said somewhere we could talk without interruptions." She continued steadily. "The construction site, Vanessa waiting, the locked doors, the confession, the burial. They told me they'd been planning this for 18 months, that the pregnancy was a complication. That divorce would split assets, but my death would give Brett everything. $2 million in life insurance, double for accidental death." What happened next? "They dragged me to a concrete pit. They threw me in. They started pouring concrete." Harper's voice remained calm despite her racing heart. "I was buried to my thighs when my brother rescued me." "During this time, did you fear for your life?" "Yes." "Did you fear for your baby's life?" "Yes." "Did you believe Brett and Vanessa intended to kill you?" "Yes, they said so, explicitly. It's on the recording." Morrison played portions of the recording again. Harper's screams, Brett's cold instructions. "Is that your voice on the recording?" "Yes." "Is that Brett Dalton's voice?" "Yes." "Vanessa Pierce's voice?" "Yes." Morrison nodded. "Your witness?" Alan Chambers stood. This was the moment Morrison had prepared Harper for, the attack on her credibility. "Miss Dalton, did you and your husband argue frequently?" "No." "Did you suspect his affair with Ms. Pierce?" "I had concerns." "But you never confronted him about these concerns?" "I trusted my husband." Harper looked directly at Chambers. "That trust was misplaced. But having trust doesn't make me unreliable." Chambers shifted tactics. "Did Brett ever physically harm you before September 22nd? "No." "So the first act of violence was attempted murder? Don't you find that extreme?" "I find murdering your pregnant wife for insurance money extreme, yes." Several jurors nodded. Chambers pressed on. "Isn't it possible you misunderstood what was happening at the construction site?" Harper's patience snapped. "There's a recording. They confessed. I was buried in concrete. What part of that is a misunderstanding? You could have..." "He poured concrete on me while I was 7 months pregnant. There is no other interpretation. That is attempted murder." Chambers tried a few more questions, but Harper remained unshakable. Morrison's preparation had worked. No further questions. Morrison did redirect. "Ms. Dalton, do you love your daughter?" "More than anything." "Would you ever harm her?" "Never." "Brett Dalton tried to harm her before she was born. What do you want from this trial?" Harper looked at the jury. "Justice, safety, for my daughter to grow up knowing her mother fought for her, for both of us, and knowing that the people who tried to kill us are in prison where they belong." She stepped down, walked back to her seat. Connor squeezed her hand. The defense called character witnesses for Brett. His mother, Carol, testified he was a good son, a good man. This was all a misunderstanding. On cross-examination, Morrison destroyed her. Mrs. Dalton, have you heard the recording? Yes. Does your son sound like a good man on that recording? Silence. Does he sound confused, manipulated, or does he sound like someone orchestrating a murder? He's my son. I know him. With respect, you don't. Not really, none of us did. That was his talent, wearing a mask. Vanessa's witnesses fared no better. Business associates who claimed she was professional, kind, incapable of violence, until Morrison played the recording. Again, Vanessa's laugh, her cheerful, "This is taking forever." How did that sound kind? On day 7, Vanessa took the stand against her lawyer's advice. "Ms. Pierce, tell the jury your version of events," Robert Hayes prompted. Vanessa cried, "Perfect victim. Brett pursued me. He said his wife was mentally unstable, that the pregnancy was an accident he didn't want. He convinced me to help him. I didn't know he meant murder until it was too late. I recorded everything as evidence. I was afraid of him. Thought if I had proof, I could go to police. But he threatened me, said if I backed out, he'd kill me too." Morrison's cross-examination was surgical. "You were afraid of Brett?" "Yes. Yet you texted him, 'Can't wait for our new life together,' the day before the murder attempt." Vanessa paused. "He had my phone, made me write that." "Your phone records show you initiated 87% of contact with Mr. Dalton. He told me to. You rented the construction site, your credit card. He gave me his card. Security footage shows you alone at the rental office, signing documents. Would you like me to play it?" Vanessa's perfect victim mask cracked. "You're twisting everything. On the recording, you laugh when Harper screams. Is that fear? I was in shock. You say this is taking forever. That's impatience, not fear. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. You wanted Harper dead. You helped plan it. You participated willingly. And now you're trying to blame Brett to save yourself. But the evidence doesn't support your story." Vanessa left the stand in tears, real ones now, because she just realized she was going to prison. Brett's lawyer tried to argue manipulation, coercion, temporary insanity, but the recording destroyed every defense. Closing arguments came on day 8. Morrison stood before the jury. "Brett Dalton and Vanessa Pierce are guilty. The evidence proves it beyond any doubt. They planned for 18 months. They executed their plan. The only reason Harper Dalton and her daughter are alive is because Connor Mitchell arrived in time. Not because these defendants stopped, because they were stopped. Justice demands conviction." Chambers argued reasonable doubt, possibility of misunderstanding, but his heart wasn't in it. The evidence was too strong. Hayes argued Vanessa was a victim, but Vanessa's testimony had undermined her own defense. The jury deliberated for 3 days. Harper waited at home with Lily Rose, pumping breast milk, changing diapers, trying not to check her phone every 5 minutes. On December 5th, the call came. Verdict reached. Harper drove to the courthouse with her whole family. They filed into the courtroom. Brett and Vanessa were already seated. Both looked pale. "Has the jury reached a verdict?" Judge Rodriguez asked. The foreperson stood, a woman in her 60s, mother of 4 according to jury selection. "We have, Your Honor. On the charge of attempted murder in the first degree against defendant Brett Dalton, how do you find?" "Guilty," Diane sobbed. Connor and Tyler remained stoic. Harper felt nothing, just relief. "On the charge of conspiracy to commit murder against defendant Brett Dalton, how do you find?" "Guilty." "On the charge of attempted murder in the first degree against defendant Vanessa Pierce, how do you find?" "Guilty." "On the charge of conspiracy to commit murder against defendant Vanessa Pierce, how do you find?" "Guilty." Vanessa screamed, "No, this isn't fair. He forced me." Brett dropped his head, defeated. Judge Rodriguez gavelled for order. The defendants will be remanded into custody pending sentencing. Sentencing hearing set for December 20th. Harper walked out of the courthouse with her family. Media everywhere. She stopped, turned, spoke into the cameras. "I came here for justice. I got it. Now I'm going home to build the life my daughter deserves. Brett Dalton is my past. Lily Rose is my future. Thank you. She walked away, head high, victorious. At sentencing 2 weeks later, both received the maximum. 25 years to life. No parole eligibility for 20 years. Judge Rodriguez's words were harsh. You attempted to murder a pregnant woman for money. You buried her alive. Only luck saved her. You showed no remorse. You deserved no leniency. Harper watched them led away in handcuffs. Felt nothing. They had no power anymore. Outside, Connor hugged her. Justice. Finally, Harper agreed. And for the first time in months, Harper felt truly free. 6 months after the trial, Harper's life had transformed completely. She'd sold the house where she'd lived with Brett. Too many bad memories. Too many ghosts. The new apartment was smaller but perfect. 2 bedrooms in a safe neighborhood near Diane. Lavender and sage nursery that Harper had painted herself. Connor helped. Photos everywhere of Harper and Lily Rose. Connor and Tyler with their niece. Diane as devoted grandmother. Lauren as honorary aunt. No pictures of Brett existed in this space. No mention, no shadow, just peace. Harper's first day back at work came in March. 6 months postpartum. She joined the trauma unit at Emmanuel Hospital. Specialized now. Knew what trauma felt like. Could help others survive it. Her supervisor, Denise, greeted her warmly. Welcome back, Harper. We've missed you. It's good to be back. Her name tag read Harper Mitchell. Maiden name reclaimed. Lily Rose's last name changed to Mitchell too. No more Dalton. That name held only pain. Her first patient was a domestic violence victim. Similar age. Similar story of trusting the wrong person. The woman wouldn't talk to other nurses, but she talked to Harper. How did you leave? She asked quietly. Harper sat beside her bed. I almost died, but I survived. And so will you. I'm scared. That's normal. But you're here. You took the first step. That's brave. Harper connected her to resources, shelter, counseling, legal aid. Watch the woman's face shift from despair to tentative hope. This was her purpose now, helping others survive their trauma, using her story for good. That evening, Harper pumped breast milk while Lily Rose napped. Her daughter was 7 months old now, crawling, babbling, perfect. No trace of Brett in her face, just Harper's eyes, Diane's smile, the Mitchell strength. Lauren arrived with coffee and gossip. Guess who got promoted? You? Me, director of marketing, corner office, everything. They celebrated with takeout and bad TV. Diane came over with homemade cookies. Connor stopped by after work. Tyler video called from his deployment. Family, village, love. The divorce had finalized in January. Harper got everything. Brett's debts had consumed most assets. But she didn't care about money. She cared about freedom. Brett had waived all parental rights as part of his sentencing. No custody, no visitation, no contact. Lily Rose legally had no father on record. Are you okay with that? Dr. Bennett had asked in therapy. More than okay. She deserves better than a father who tried to murder her before birth. What will you tell her when she's older? The truth, that her father made terrible choices, that he's in prison, that we're better off without him. 1 year after the attempted murder, a letter arrived via prison mail from Brett. Harper debated not opening it, but curiosity won. Dear Harper, I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I'm writing because my therapist says I need closure. I was weak, cowardly, selfish. Vanessa didn't manipulate me. I pursued her. I planned everything. The jury got it right. I think about Lily Rose every day. Our daughter I'll never meet. I signed away my rights because she deserves better than a father in prison. Better than me, even if I were free. You were a good wife. I was a terrible husband. I destroyed something beautiful because I was too stupid to see its value until it was gone. I hope you're happy. I hope Lily Rose is healthy. I hope you find someone who deserves you. I never did. Brett Harper read it twice. Felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, no satisfaction, just indifference. He was irrelevant now. She wrote back, brief, final. Brett, I'm not interested in your closure, But I'll give you truth, Lily Rose is perfect. Happy, loved. She'll never know you tried to kill her. I'll tell her you made bad choices and left. That's enough. I don't forgive you. Forgiveness requires caring, and I don't. You're a stranger who shares DNA with my daughter. Nothing more. Don't write again. We're done, Beb. Harper, she mailed it. Close that chapter. Forever. In therapy that week, Harper had a breakthrough. I spent 5 years trying to be enough for him, Harper told Dr. Bennett. Perfect wife, perfect home, perfect life. But I was always enough. He just couldn't see it. His loss. Lily Rose and I are building something better, something real, and I'm more than enough for us. Dr. Bennett smiled. That's growth, recognizing your worth independent of his perception. It's taken a year, but I finally believe it. You're not the woman you were a year ago. No, I'm stronger, wiser, free. On September 22nd, the one-year anniversary of the burial, Harper took Lily Rose to the park, fed the ducks, played on swings, celebrated life. 1 year ago, she'd been buried in concrete, running out of air, fighting for survival. Today, she was surrounded by love, building a future, thriving. That evening, Harper's family gathered for Lily Rose's first birthday party. Her apartment decorated with butterflies. Lily Rose's favorite. Small gathering. Diane, Connor, Tyler, Lauren, Dr. Brennan, Detective Walsh, A.D.A. Morrison. The village that had saved them. No mention of Brett, no shadow, just joy. Lily Rose smashed her first birthday cake. Frosting everywhere. Pure joy. Harper held her daughter, looked around at the faces she loved. Connor filming everything, Tyler making silly faces, Diane crying happy tears, Lauren organizing games, Dr. Brennan with medical-grade hand sanitizer, Detective Walsh with an enormous teddy bear, Morrison with a college savings bond. These people, this village, this love. Happy birthday, baby girl, Harper whispered to Lily Rose. We made it. Look how far we've come. As the party wound down, Harper stepped onto her balcony. Cool evening air, stars coming out, held Lily Rose, who was falling asleep on her shoulder. Connor joined her. You okay, Harper Bug? More than okay, I'm happy. Really, truly happy. You deserve it. We all do. You saved us, Connor. You saved yourself. I just showed up at the right time. Mitchells don't quit. Never. They stood in comfortable silence. Brother and sister, survivors, champions. Lily Rose snored softly. Perfect, innocent, loved. Harper thought about the woman she was a year ago. Trusting, naive, almost died for it. Thought about the woman she was now. Stronger, wiser, alive. Some women spent their lives recovering from trauma. Some let it define them. Some let it destroy them. Harper had decided to let it transform her. Brett tried to bury her. Instead, he excavated strength she didn't know she had. Vanessa tried to take her life. Instead, she gave Harper purpose. They both sat in prison while Harper stood under stars, holding her daughter, surrounded by love. She won. They lost. Justice served. Life reclaimed. Harper carried Lily Rose inside, tucked her into crib, kissed her forehead. Sweet dreams, baby girl. Tomorrow's another adventure. Turned off the light, walked to her bedroom, looked at the photo on her nightstand. Her, Connor, Tyler, and their dad, all the Mitchell warriors. Smiled, whispered, we did it, Dad. We survived. We thrived. Watch over us. Climbed into bed, exhausted, happy, free. Somewhere Brett Dalton sat in a cell. Somewhere Vanessa Pierce raged at injustice. But here in this small apartment, Harper Mitchell slept peacefully. Lily Rose dreamed baby dreams. And life, beautiful and hard-won, continued. The trauma would always be part of Harper's story. The scars would never fully fade. But they didn't define her. She was Harper Mitchell. Nurse, sister, daughter, mother, survivor. And she was more than enough. For herself, for Lily Rose, for the future they were building together. 1 year ago, she'd been buried alive. Today, she was finally, truly living. And that was the greatest victory of all. Harper's story didn't end in that concrete pit. It began there. If this story moved you, inspired you, or reminded you of your own strength, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Share your thoughts, your reactions, maybe even your own story of survival, because we all have one. And if you believe stories like Harper's deserve to be heard, stories of real people overcoming impossible odds, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Share this with someone who needs to hear that survival is possible, that justice exists, that transformation is real. Because Harper's story, it could save someone's life. New stories of courage, survival, and justice every week. Thank you for listening to Harper's Journey. Until next time, remember, you're stronger than you think.